Hi, welcome to Libratum Vita. I know it's been a while, but I promise you it is all for good reason. I've been working on some brand new things that I'm super excited to share with you. As time goes on, I feel like there's more and more things that I want to do and things that I want to share with you guys. And so I've just been working on figuring out the best way to facilitate all of that information. And I am so excited to bring this brand new video sequence to you. So moving forward, how this is going to work is I will post one super video at the beginning of each month. And then in the following weeks, I'll go ahead and post each of the individual segments from that video in case you're only interested in a specific portion of it. That way you can just focus on that one topic rather than watching the whole thing. Or if you want to watch the whole thing, you are of course welcome to watch all of them. We definitely welcome that. I super appreciate all of your support so far, and I'm very excited to share what I've been working on with you all. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into today's video. This month I have some research on jasmine essential oil, so let's get into it. Originating from China and northern India, jasmine essential oil has been produced for centuries for its sweet, sensual scent. Most famously, Louis XVI and Cleopatra utilized the oil for its feminine aroma in their perfumes. Hindus even named jasmine as the perfume of love for its aphrodisiac qualities. Recent studies show jasmine essential oil to have an activating effect on the brain and is used today in aromatherapy and massages to treat depression. The scent increases blood oxygen saturation, leading to a more alert and positive mood state. Interestingly, it is well balanced in its stimulant properties and does not cause hyperactivity or anxiety, but rather a calm attentiveness. For this reason, the oil may be used to both uplift and relax at once. Jasmine essential oil contains anti-inflammatory, antibacterial, antispasmodic, and antiseptic properties, making it an effective treatment for minor wounds. In China, jasmine flowers would be strewn about in sick rooms to clear the air. This was even before modern medicine discovered the molecular reasoning behind this cleansing sensation. Jasmine essential oil is also well known for its ability to improve skin health. These same properties assist in reducing the formation of acne, wrinkles, scars, aging, or dryness. Guys, I am super excited for our product launch this month. It is the Love Always poem. You can post it anywhere you like, and it is just a nice, simple reminder of the love that we have within ourselves and that we have the ability to share with others to create this community this communal bliss. We truly do have the ability within us all, and so let's do our best to share that with ourselves and with those around us. Here at Labradum Vita, we love to focus on all areas of health. I truly do believe that all aspects of health must be balanced in order to create a truly healthy lifestyle. So this includes mental and physical health. I believe they're completely intertwined, and there's plenty of evidence to back this up. So today I would like to share with you the idea of the sober high. We often kind of go through our lives in a sort of routine, which is normal and perfectly good for our health. But we kind of end up getting into this stable routine to where we aren't actually looking forward to each and every day. Rather, we're kind of dragged through them, and we end up looking forward to big events that we have in our lives, such as vacations or holidays or something of the like. But it can sometimes become redundant, and as many of us know, when we're working that job 9 to 5, doing the same repetitive tasks, the same chores every day, it can get a little bit dull, and at times we'll find ourselves sort of living for the weekends and just kind of always looking forward to doing something else rather than what it is that we're doing right now. But even though that thing that you're doing right now might not be exactly what you would like to be doing, I do want to share with you that there is a way to stop looking forward to these big events and rather looking forward to even these small mundane tasks of life, living each and every moment as though it is the most special. Because truly it is. All we really have is right now. The future is not guaranteed, and the past is over. So we cannot live in either except for right now. Right now in this moment is truly all that we have. And so let's do our best to make the best out of it. I think a really good way to kind of explain how our brains work in this sort of way, in this routinistic way, is to actually go into how dopamine works. I'm sure many of you have heard of dopamine before. It's a pretty popular neurotransmitter. It's a chemical in our brains that works as the sort of reward system. So when something pleasurable happens to us, dopamine is often released by our brain, and we are signaled with this reward sensation of, oh, that feels so good. And unfortunately, it doesn't actually last very long. There actually can be a bit of a misconception on this because dopamine is not only present during reward states, but actually all the time. However, the amount of dopamine absorbed is relative to what is happening in your life. So, for instance, our bodies and brains do require a certain amount of every chemical and hormone within it at a stable level at all times. It can fluctuate up or down from there, but in general, our bodies do need a certain amount of it in order to function properly. And so let's just say, for instance, your regular standard dopamine, what we call a baseline, is, let's say right here, somewhere in the middle. This is the amount of dopamine that is released on a regular basis without anything spectacular happening to you. Let's just say you're having your normal routine, you're going to work, you're doing your dishes, whatever it may be, you're at that standard dopamine level. It's not nothing because you still need it to function, but it's not high because you're not experiencing anything necessarily pleasurable. So what happens is when we experience something pleasurable is that it goes into a huge spike. However, it lasts very briefly. It can last different periods of time depending on what the stimulant was. However, it will at some point fall back down. But once it falls back down, The issue is that suddenly, once we hit right back down to our baseline, that suddenly feels so much lower than it used to. Perhaps we were staying at our baseline for such a long time. We were working hard all year long, waiting for that grand vacation at the end of the year. And once we finally experienced our vacation, we had the time of our lives, and that was amazing. Our dopamine spiked and we were incredibly happy. But what happened after you returned? That level crashed back down, and once you returned back to your routine, you are back at your baseline. And rather than it seeming as though the normal contentment level that you have, it suddenly felt lower because you were used to such a higher level. This mechanism is actually the partial reasoning for instance, drug addiction or smoking. So what happens when someone takes drugs or smokes a cigarette? What happens is they have that hit and they hit that dopamine spike, but only for a few seconds or a few minutes, depending on the substance. And then once you crash back down, that right there is what causes that addiction, because especially on those substances, you'll fall below the baseline for a period of time until you return back to your standard baseline. But even that standard baseline suddenly feels so much lower, and it was such a brief high that you just want nothing more but to get it back. And so what happens is that you begin to crave that high again, that dopamine influx. And so your brain can clearly find the pattern in this and realize, how can I get that back? I can take that drug, I can hit that cigarette. And so this is the basis of addiction, craving that high. And sometimes it's not even necessarily that the feeling itself from that substance was that good. Sometimes it's just because of that simple chemical explanation, because suddenly the baseline feels lower than it used to. So as you can see, both physical stimulants and even mental ones can cause this fluctuation in dopamine. So how do we fix this? All of us wish that we could always stay at that peak high, right? I mean, that's the goal. That I can't say is possible. But what I can say is that there is a way to heighten your baseline. So rather than waiting for some big event or waiting for your next hit, what we can do is we can heighten our excitement for the mundane tasks. If you allow yourself to look for all of the beautiful things in your life, if you pay extra close attention to all of the small things that make up your day-to-day life that help you in some way, find that appreciation for even things that normally wouldn't seem that exciting or normally wouldn't seem that beneficial to you. If you really truly make the time, be attentive and present in each and every moment, you'll find yourself heightening that baseline, because you'll find yourself more and more excited about everything. This is a topic we've covered in a previous video, and I will put a link to that below if you have not seen it. So I won't get too in-depth into this concept, but if you want to check that out, you can. But there we go into depth of this idea of finding appreciation in every little thing in life, and doing this and finding things to look forward to each and every day. Maybe you do have tasks that you have to complete every day, but maybe there's something, even just something small, that you can add. Maybe just reading a chapter in a book that you love. Even small little rewards like this will give you things to look forward to. Looking for things that you like out of even the situations that you don't like will further your gratitude for each and every moment, will keep you more present and grounded, and will actually end up heightening your baseline to where you're no longer living for the weekends. You're no longer waiting for that big spectacular event for your dopamine spike. You are finding your own spike each and every day. It might not be as high as that spectacular event, but it's higher than your baseline. You'll find yourself heightening your baseline higher and higher each and every day with these exercises. It's all about reframing your mindset. You cannot always control everything in your life, and bad things will happen, and things that you don't really feel like doing, you'll have to do. But what we can do is look for the good things. We can focus our attention on those things and heighten our everyday contentment. And what will this do? This will allow ourselves to enjoy each and every day without waiting for big spectacular events. There's nothing wrong with having that great vacation, and by all means, please enjoy it. But this is simply an exercise to keep your mind stimulated at a consistent level. This will keep you more present and thinking more clearly and enjoying each and every moment. So in the scenario of the drug addict or the smoker that is craving that dopamine high and reverts back to whatever that substance was in order to facilitate that, when we practice this exercise of looking for things that we like in our lives and heightening that baseline, rather than looking for that spike once again, instead our bodies will crave that continual increase. Rather than craving that instant gratification of that spike, our brains will automatically start to crave the work of looking for that contentment. And so as we heighten our baseline, we will, rather than craving that cigarette, we'll crave the work. And this kind of is a way to even trick your brain into thinking that hard work is reward. And it is. You get, over time, amazing rewards from hard work. But if you keep this mindset, kind of reframe your mind into thinking that the hard work is the reward, you will automatically keep bringing yourself back to that. Rather than dragging yourself into the gym, you'll be excited, you'll be running over there because you cannot wait to increase that baseline. You cannot wait to continue to increase the loveliness of your life. This idea is what I call the sober high, because rather than using some sort of outside substance to get yourself high, you're high on life. You are completely sober, but you heighten your emotion each and every day. So I encourage you to please give this a try and see what it does for you. This is, of course, like all of the mental exercises we do on this channel, it's a constant work in progress, and we are always learning and growing. So it's not always going to be perfect, and we certainly will have setbacks. But what happens is that when we do have those lows and those setbacks, suddenly that dip doesn't feel as low because we're so used to such a stable high, to where those dips don't crash so hard anymore as much as they used to. Suddenly it's easier to pull yourself back up because you understand that putting in the work will get you back to where you need to be. I believe in all of you, and I think that we all have the choice to make our lives as spectacular as we wish them to be. So just know that you have the power within yourself to create a beautiful life for yourself. Do whatever it is that works for you, that allows you to heighten that baseline, not from some outside substance, but from the inner you. You always know what's best for you, and you can make it happen. I believe in you, so you should too.